Welcome to Energy Elevation Lab. I'm Lauren Archer, and this is where science meets spirit, heart to heart. Today, I'm delighted to introduce you to my guest, Ellen Newhouse, an intuitive healer, acupuncturist, author, and transformational coach with over 30 years of experience helping women reclaim their voice, vitality, and emotional freedom. Ellen blends Eastern medicine, sound healing, energy work, and deeply attuned intuition to guide her clients through healing from trauma, burnout, and emotional stagnation. Ellen's memoir, Nothing Ever Goes On Here, shares her journey to recover her authentic self and how she broke free from the chains of generational abuse. This conversation was originally recorded for the Vivitude Show, produced by Sagecast Media, and I'm sharing it with you here on the Energy Elevation Lab. So let's dive in. So welcome, Ellen.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. Very excited for our talk today.
Me too. We are going to start with a few questions and then allow the conversation to unfold naturally because I know we share a lot of the same ideas about how we can shift our energy from struggle, from challenge into more vitality and joy. So let's start, if we can, with your book title. It's so evocative. Nothing Ever Goes On Here. Can you share why you chose it and what it reveals about your family story?
Well, without giving it too much away, it came out of a conversation and it came out of the kind of trauma that I went through where the abuser, my father, was constantly telling me, no, no, that is not reality. Here's your reality. No, no, that is not happening. Here's what is happening. And I will tell you, it was absolutely crazy making because as a young girl, you look up to your parents, you look to them as role models, but you have an inner knowing. And when your inner knowing is saying, wait, 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 things are bad here, and you're constantly being told, no, no, that's not happening, or no, things are just fine. But your inner knowing. And so eventually, unfortunately, you give your inner knowing away. And there are many options. My path was to submerge everything that I knew to be true and took on my father's truth as truth. And that lasted until I was actually 26 years of age when I woke up and I couldn't breathe. And when you can't breathe, let me tell you, all hell breaks loose.
I can't
And
imagine.
yeah, so it was extremely challenging. And I spent 2 years in Western medicine, and absolutely no medication worked. It may work for 5 minutes and then it was done. And I think this was very purposeful because my guides were trying to get my attention, were trying to get me back to my knowing. And eventually, when the last doctor offered his solution as an oxygen tank, I was like, no, this time for me to go to my divine spirit. And that's what I did. And that was the beginning of me being able to find my voice again.
I love it. I want to address something right up front. So, you talked about guides and divine spirit. And here, when we talk about emotional and spiritual wellness, we come at it from a universal perspective. So, the language that every individual uses is unique to them, but we are very inclusive here. And it's whatever filter you have to interpret that. So, I don't know if you want to share anything on that. I know a lot of people connect with different ways of knowing.
Yes, well, I grew up in a very conservative Jewish home, and there was no talk of divine spirit. There was no, I mean, the only thing we spoke about was God. And so I came into this life with a very sacred bond with God. And yet I didn't understand that I could also have a relationship of with guides. This was completely foreign to me. So when I began praying at 26 for help, I just thought I was asking God for help, and God did not appear to me in that moment. But I committed to a prayer practice like none other because I couldn't work, because I couldn't breathe. And I started getting information. And in today's world, people are like, oh my God, you were channeling, that's great. But if to me, it was absolutely horrifying because I had a mother who suffered with mental illness who heard voices. So as I'm getting information, I'm sitting there and I had two choices. I felt that either I was going down the same direction as my mother into mental illness, or these guides or information that was coming through that I knew was not my voice had a way to help me to heal. I chose the latter belief and I started following the guidance that I was receiving, but it was horrifying. It was
Wow.
not.
Wow. So, trauma from childhood, leaving you with a sense of disconnection from your authentic truth, which ultimately led to a really severe health condition that sounded quite life-threatening, and then nothing could help in the Western medical model. And so you started following intuitive guidance. Give us the overview. How did this resolve? Because, boy, where you are now, you're
Yeah.
using acupuncture and energy healing and sound healing, and you are helping other people transcend these patterns of trauma. So, can you give us just in a nutshell, how did this all play out?
So this was at a time when alternative medicine didn't exist, and I was living in the middle of New York City. So these guides started telling me, well, go here. And like they were literal, go to this store, there is somebody there for you to meet. And so I followed, like literally followed the guidance. And the very first person I met was a very old Chinese healer who in China did acupuncture, but because he didn't have a degree here, he did herbology and he did energy medicine. And I met him, according to me, by coincidence. And he said, you know, you're very sick. I help you. And I was like, oh my God. I wish I could say I understood, but I was horrified. I was like, how does this person know? And this was like before, channeling and psychic things were very mainstream. I was horrified. And yet I said, okay, I'll go for one session. I went to his office, which was an apartment, and he had like an army cot. I mean, Lauren, I will tell you, I was horrified. I was like, oh my God, I'm a nice Jewish girl. What am I doing in the middle of harm? What am I doing like, is he going to hurt me? And I mean, the fact that I would even lay down in the army cot was horrifying, but I
Wow.
did, and it helped. I mean, I remember walking home and I was like, oh my God, I can breathe more. I was like, what is happening? But it was such a shift in thought patterns. It was such a shift in belief systems that my body could hardly, or I could hardly keep up with what was happening.
Yes, yes. You use the word energy medicine. I'm going to want to come back to that. But for those people who don't know what it is or who haven't heard of it, can you give us just a little overview? What do we mean by energy medicine?
Sure. So I want you to think of everything in the universe is energy. We are an energy matrix. We are created in a certain way that our energy flows in a pattern that we're used to. And sometimes our energy gets stuck. So we may not even know it, but the way it can present if we're stuck is in, let's say, stomach problems or headaches or backaches or any kind of disease. So if you look at it from an energy perspective, it's like a river that is now dammed up. It is now backed up. And so the water isn't flowing well or easily. And what we want to do in using energy medicine is to get that movement that is healthy and good for you flowing again.
That
And
makes so much sense. We're going to take a quick break and come
oh,
back. But what I'm hearing is when we have these traumas, these emotional situations from our past, it can block our energy and cause physical illnesses. And we're going to come right back with Ellen to talk about how we can get this flow moving again. Thank you. Are you a light worker? I know a lot of my friends are. A light worker is simply someone who made the decision to contribute their time, effort, energy, talents towards making this world a better place. And with that in mind, I want to give a big shout out to my friends at the Campaign for Light. Founded by Inez Kopperschlager, the Campaign for Light is a multimedia platform designed to support and unify those who identify as light workers, as well as those who are looking to elevate their energy and get a little bit of support in this crazy time we live in. So come check us out, campaignforlight.com. We have free events and resources. Or if you are a practitioner, we encourage you to consider listing your services as part of our sanctuary support so that we can help connect those people who are providing lightworker services with those who need them most. Campaignforlight.com. We look forward to connecting with you. And we're back with the Energy Elevation Lab. Let's rejoin our conversation with Ellen Newhouse. And we left off, Ellen, when you had seen this old Chinese healer that was very strange to you at the time, and you were guided to go there, and that opened the door. Can you tell us what happened next? How did you experience the shift, and what did you keep studying and learning about?
okay, so I'm walking home from that appointment, and suddenly I felt this opening in my chest, and I felt I could breathe more, and it totally freaked me out because the thoughts in my mind were, well, he can't do anything with just his hands. Like I I didn't believe anything could happen. And now my mind is trying to catch up with what my body is going through. And I decided I would go back for another treatment. Just even though I was scared to death, I was like, this something has happened here.
Yeah,
Something
something
has,
worked. And after Western medicine came up with zero results and you're still
yeah,
suffering, to
yeah,
have a shift with this alternative medicine,
yeah.
that had to have been really impactful. Okay, so then what?
So, and at the next session, he gives me these herbs and tells me what to do. And oh my God, I decided to follow through with that. And they were horrible. They smelled horrible. Everything about it was horrible. But what I went through in taking those herbs was, even to this day, I'm amazed. It was like the deepest detox of so much of my emotions. So, I mean, I went through like a 24 to 36-hour detox of my entire life.
Really?
Yes, and when I came out of that, I was so much lighter, so much brighter in my being. I could breathe easier, and I thought, wow, there is something to all of this. I don't understand it. I don't believe in it, but I'm going to continue. And I started to study. And he wanted me to study with him, which to this day I regret a little bit. I wasn't ready because he scared the heck out of me. What he knew was amazing. And I didn't, but I continued in my own way to study about this energy medicine. I was like, okay, I need to find some books. And shortly thereafter, the New Age movement began. And so there were a lot more books. There weren't places to study necessarily. But I then started listening more to these guides and following through about what they told me to do. And I started to meet even more healers. And I was like, I was so scared, and it took me about 5 years before I would get comfortable with this idea of energy medicine and herbs and what they can do because I was so accustomed to the Western model. This was so foreign,
Yeah.
but I continued.
One of my favorite sayings is when you open up your mind, don't let your brains fall out. Right? So, yes, I can see why people, especially if you come from an academic background, if you want to be conservative, respectful of what you're getting into, you want to do your research, and it sounds like you really did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I mean, I had a degree in economics and international relations. So to go from that to opening up to these foreign ideas was so important because so many people, now that I take on the journey of their own healing, have to open their minds in the exact same way. Most of my patients don't readily believe in, spirits or guides. And so I think it's important that I had to go through that so that I could help other people to understand and to help them to to open their minds as well.
Yeah, yeah. So catch us up. So from the early humble beginnings of you trying to heal yourself when Western medicine couldn't, childhood trauma, your own sense of who you were was really kind of overwritten by what your family told you. And I wonder how common that is in the world,
Yeah.
especially for women, right? We are taught to kind of keep things in this narrow band. And so then you have now shifted totally into helping women move into their own sense of self. So, how do you do that?
With a lot of patience. And I think the very first step is in owning, being honest with oneself about what's going on. And it's not that we want to be dishonest, but it's so scary to be able to say, I don't feel well, I'm hurting, I need help. I'm angry, I'm sad. I mean, I know this may sound easy or I don't know, it may sound small, but it's so huge. I think we are so accustomed to wanting to make nice, to be a people pleaser, to not ruffle the feathers, to not go against our tribe, which is our family. We want to uphold all of these things. And it's the small steps, well, small and huge, of really starting with how do I actually feel? And I often have people just start in this very moment. How do you feel? Let's just even get an intake. Even if you feel warm or cold. I mean, people are so unaccustomed to coming inside of themselves. So we start with coming inside and just even noticing, how do I feel in this moment?
Yeah, that's huge. I know in my own work as a heart math coach and a hypnotherapist, so much is in our subconscious that we're not aware of, and yet the subconscious is driving the show. And many of us live from the neck up, as it were, right? Our attention is constantly focused on our to-do lists, on who needs what in our lives, on how everything looks on the outside, on all of those external measures of success that we are not even aware of what's going on from the neck down. How do we feel in our bodies? What are our emotions trying to tell us?
Yes, yes. And so even just having people doing a scan of their bodies seems foreign. It's
Mhm.
like, what do you mean? Because we have
Yes.
a lot of ideas in our head about who we are and how we feel, but they're not often lined up with actually what's going on inside of our body.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to give you some opportunity to give women your top, say, three tips on how they can begin to start with where they are and learn about what else is possible. We're going to be coming back to that, but before we take a break, I want to hear just in terms of your studies, so acupuncture, energy healing, can you just overview, like, how do you work with women?
So today I integrate acupuncture, sound healing, so I sing into people's bodies and beings, and transformational coaching. And I put them all together when I work with people in person, and then when I work with them afar on Zoom, we just leave the acupuncture alone. Um, yeah.
Phenomenal. Okay, we are going to come back with Ellen Newhouse, and I just have to put a little teaser out there. So I had one Zoom session with Ellen where she did some of her energy work, and I am not kidding. I could totally feel it in every cell of my body. So stay tuned. We'll be right back, and you're going to get a taste of Ellen's work a little later.
What if the best chapter of your life hasn't even begun yet? What lies within you is the power to live brighter, bolder, and truer than ever before. So welcome to Vivitude, where caregiving, connections, and career come into balance, and where your vitality, vision, and voice shines through. Because the revolution isn't out there, it's already within you. Welcome to Vivitude.
And we're back with the Energy Elevation Lab. Thanks for joining us. Let's resume our conversation with the amazing Ellen Newhouse. And we are talking about caring for your energy. How do you shift your energy? How do you elevate your energy? And how do you release some of that, emotional trauma from the past? So, Ellen, in this segment, I'd love to ask you, what can women do on a practical level? What are your top tips to help women change their energy and feel better, feel more authentic?
Great question. So the very first thing that I would say that you can do that's super simple is get a journal and start writing every single day how you're feeling. What are your thoughts? What if you knew what you were feeling? Because sometimes we get stuck. Just put your pen to paper, maybe set your timer for 10 minutes, put your pen to paper and just write. Don't pick the pen up, because in that practice, a lot of things come out from the subconscious that we don't even allow ourselves to say. So that would be the very first thing. The next thing, if you're dealing with grief or trauma or an illness of any kind, get very quiet and ask your body. Go to that place where the illness lives, where the trauma is in your heart, where the grief is in your heart, and ask, what are you trying to teach me? What is this illness trying to teach me? What is the blessing of this trauma, of this grief? What is the blessing of this disease? And write it down. You may be shocked.
Wow. And so many of us don't want to do that. I mean, that's scary. You want me to feel?
Yes, yes, I want you to feel a lot. Yes, that's,
Okay.
you know, because as we go right into the wound or the area, believe me, it has so much wisdom. I do this a lot with my patients, and it's shocking what comes out. It's just so surprising and so informative. The
Wow.
third thing is I want you to have a friend that you can tell anything to, and they can tell you anything, because we need to be in community. Too many women are isolated and alone, and they don't feel free to tell somebody, one person, what is their truth.
That is so important. I do feel that sense, and that's why I'm so excited to be part of Vivitude, that as we listen to each other's stories, even, and we learn about some of these ways that other women are processing trauma, are moving through the challenges of caregiving and midlife, that gives us a sense of, oh, I'm not alone. There's other people dealing with the same thing.
Absolutely. And it's so important. We're living in a culture that is very lonely. And as we learn to speak honestly and truthfully, whatever it is, without feeling judged by ourselves or others, we start to realize, oh, wait, I am okay. And I want you to know you are not broken. You just have some things that need to be healed, but there's nothing ultimately wrong with you.
Well, and I think the piece there that's really encouraging is hope, because again, so many women have been dismissed by the medical system with these mystery illnesses that they have come to just live with it. And what I'm hearing you say is that by addressing the emotional and underlying spiritual energies of what's happening in the body, that there is hope.
Absolutely. I mean, I went from hopeless to hopeful because I couldn't breathe. And when you can't breathe, nothing is working and you feel broken. And when you don't have support, I mean, it's like you feel absolutely 100% helpless. And so I want people to know there's really nothing wrong with you. In fact, the illness is trying to get your attention to let you know there's everything right with you. I mean, it's our power. We find our power in addressing what we feel is off. And once we go right into it and don't avoid it, it's so powerful.
It's like asking the question, where is the gift in this? And finding it. And oftentimes we do need other people to help us find that. It's hard to do by ourselves.
Absolutely. And learning that it's okay to say, I want and need some help. I mean, I think women have been convinced that they don't need support. They should be able to do it all by themselves.
Right.
And
We
believe
have to
me, I
tough
had
it
a
out.
ton of support in those 5 years to be able to heal.
Yeah.
So
Well, you are a living example of vitality, energy, joy. You sing, you write, you produce amazing things. You've done a one woman show, and having come from your background with the level of trauma and even the physical illness that you did, it is just so inspirational. So we are going to come back, and when we come back with Ellen, I'm going to invite Ellen to give our listeners a taste of some of the work that she does so that you can get a sense of what it's like for yourself. Your energy matters, and where attention goes, energy flows. Hi, Lauren Archer here with an invitation for you. I've created a free 7-day energy reset on my website at laurenarcher.live. And it is an opportunity for you to get a taste of what it might be like to work together totally free. I'm using the principles and tools that I use with my private coaching clients to invite you into your own inner experiment where you can use these powerful mindfulness techniques to shift your energy from the inside out. So come check it out. It's totally free on my website, www.laurenarcher.live, not .com, .live, and I will see you there. And we're back with the Energy Elevation Lab. Let's rejoin our conversation with Ellen Newhouse. Ellen is going to share with us one of her gifts. We're going to talk a little bit about what actually happens. What is energy healing? How can you conceptualize this? And then you're going to get a taste of Ellen's work. So we're going to let Ellen close out this segment. And so once she gets started, if you want to close your eyes and relax, you can do that. And if you have any questions afterwards, you can reach out to Ellen, and you can also leave comments on our YouTube channel. So Ellen, please tell us, how can people reach you and how can they work with you? And then help us conceptualize a little bit about what's going to be happening here.
okay. So people can reach me on my website at ellennewhouse.com, on Facebook at Ellen Newhouse, and on Instagram at Ellen Heals with Joy. So I will be using a crystal ball, and I will be using my voice, and I will be singing into your etheric energy and physical body. I know you're not here, but you will feel it. Many people feel it. And some people, when I do the singing, see lights, different colors, or they feel a sense of vibration moving through their body. You felt tingles in your body. Some people, they may feel emotions. Different emotions can be felt. And so on a visual, I like to think of our bodies like a body of water, and we know that water amplifies sound. So think of like bubbles moving through water, and that is a vibration moving through your physical body. I think that's a good visual. Yeah.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay. So, like Lauren said, find a place that's comfortable and take a moment to close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or you can keep them open, and just allow yourself to listen and take in the sounds that you hear. And so, wherever you find yourself, feel free to just allow these sounds to vibrate through your body and take your time. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, but take your time.
It was beautiful. Thank you.
Was that good timing?
Yes, so
Oh,
we still
good.
have a couple of minutes.
Oh, good. All righty. Well, I
We do.
hope for those of you who have received this, that you receive it in the light of one of my favorite quotes, which is, "On the other side of darkness, I met the light." So I hope whatever is going on in your life, whatever dark areas you may be feeling, I hope that the sound, which is encoded with light, which is encoded with divine light, brings you to your lightness. Because remember, no matter what is going on, the light is always lit within you.
Mm.
I want to leave you with a mantra from one of my latest songs, which is called "I Am Not Shame." And it goes like this: I am not shame. I know my name. I know my name. I am love. I am love. I am love.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Ellen Newhouse, author of Nothing Ever Goes On Here. You can reach out to Ellen at ellennewhouse.com. Find her on Facebook, Instagram, and what is the Ellen Heals with Joy?
Yes.
That is on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for being my guest today. I really appreciate the light you bring to this world. And for all of our listeners out there, definitely follow Ellen. Check out her book. It is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in today to the Energy Elevation Lab. Wasn't Ellen amazing? I so appreciate her wisdom, and there's so much more we didn't even get a chance to scratch the surface of. So if you were inspired by Ellen's work, I encourage you to reach out and contact her directly. You'll find all of her contact information in the show notes. And if this episode spoke to you, if it landed well, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment. I read every single one. And your subscriptions enable me to continue to produce more free, uplifting content like this. And if you'd like to dive a little bit deeper, please visit me at laurenarcher.live. That's Live, not .com, .live. And on my website, you will find the free energy reset. This is a 7-day journey that gives you a taste of what it might be like to work together. I've compiled some of the best, most powerful, most profound universal principles and practices that I use with my private coaching clients in a format that's easy for you to dip a toe in the water, taste, and see for yourself how these simple mindfulness tools and practices can help change your life. So thanks again for joining me, and until next time, may you breathe deeper, love wider, and show up with the energy that only you can bring.